Well, good morning, everyone. This is Jilly Little Zen Crone. Welcome to the Crone Circle. How is everyone? Everybody okay? There's a lot going on in the world. It is very, very hot here in many places in the world, and in many places in the United States where we're not used to having it be so hot and humid right now. So, we're used to having warm temperatures, but it's hotter than I've ever felt it, I think. Maybe I'm just old. I don't know. Anyway, first of all, I want to apologize because I was not able to do our new moon live last week. And I want to know how the new moon went for you. So we had this new moon in Leo, which starts our Leo season. That fiery, passionate, creative, very kind of season, like exciting, and we're coming out of Cancer, this watery, emotional kind of season. And I don't know about you, but I felt it. Like I felt those emotions. I felt like there was this tugging. It was kind of like Leo saying, come on, come on, come on, And so I felt it on that night of the moon. And I think we often we often ignore, and it's not that we're doing it on purpose. I think that it sort of just passes us by, these moon phases. It's not something that was ever talked about in my family, and I think in most families. We didn't live by the moon. We didn't really think about it, but it always amazes me that the moon governs the tides, these huge bodies of water. Like, why wouldn't it affect us, in some way, shape, or form? Anyway, so it was, I felt the new moon come in, but now I kind of feel, I feel settled in, in Leo's season now, and really moving into, we certainly are feeling the sun of Leo, that's for sure. So I have some notes here, because I have some notes because so let me switch my glasses here. So today, the 28th of July, 2025, is the opening of the Lion's Gate. And I don't know if any of you work with the Lion's Gate. If you do, please let me know. I've been working with the Lion's Gate only for the last, sorry, that's a paper bag that's rattling. I just put it away. Only for the last, maybe I've been aware of the Lion's Gate. Now let's remember, I started in tarot late in life. I was in my 40s. And so all of this end of the spiritual realm came late to me in life. So I've only been aware of the Lion's Gate for the last maybe 10 years. And I've been working with the Lion's Gate, like really doing some work during that period of time for the last 3 years. So if you work with the Lion's Gate, I would love to I'd love to know. So please leave me a comment below. So the Lion's Gate happens every year at this time when the Earth and the star Sirius, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and the constellation Orion, and Orion's the one we, with Orion's belt, when they align. And it's supposed to be a very potent, a very powerful time when this Lion's Gate opens. And I think they call it the Lion's Gate because it happens in Leo. Sirius has been called the spiritual star, I think, or is it spiritual star or spiritual? It must be, yeah, the spiritual star, and so this is a deeply spiritual time for us, and it's a time. The Lionsgate starts on the 28th, and then it closes on August 13th, with the height of it being August 8. It is a time for infinite possibilities. It is a time for us to do that self-work in areas of, for courage and self-confidence and self-love, compassion. It is a time where it's said that we can raise our consciousness. And dear me, the consciousness on the world stage definitely needs to be raised, right? So it's really a time of reflection and a time of some reflection and just working on those things. Because if we can't love ourselves, if we have no self-love or self-respect or self-compassion, how can we truly show those things to other people, right? So it's really a time to work on those things. That's what I'm going to be working on for sure. And as a woman of a certain age, in my generation, we were taught by our mothers that, and I'm not saying my mom taught me this she didn't teach me this by sitting me down and telling me. It was her example. The women of my mother's and my grandmother's generation were selfless to a fault. They gave of themselves and burned themselves out, and anything that they did for themselves, they really fought with the concept of being selfish. And I would really like to, I hope that I have broken that chain with my daughters, with my children, with my sons too. Like, we all need to work on ourselves, and that is something, that work is done continually. And sometimes it's deep, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's messy, but many times it's joyful. And so I want to remind us of that too. So over the past year and a half now, I've been really sinking into the moon and sinking into goddess work. And I had a hard time choosing a goddess to work with for the Lionsgate, and I don't know why. As a matter of fact, I just chose the goddess that I'm working with yesterday, and I had a goddess chosen, and it was Sekhmet. And I just didn't feel right. I did not feel right working with Sekhmet. I sat with that because I have not been drawn to work with Egyptian or Greek goddesses at all. I am really more attuned with Celtic and Norse goddess work. And so I thought, you're being a snob. It's just that you're not attuned, you don't feel attached to this goddess, so you don't feel drawn to her, so you probably should work with her. But it was more than that. And I think the best way I can describe it is to say that I felt like Sekhmet was too much for me, just for me. But as I was reading about Sekhmet, I read that Sekhmet is sometimes linked to Bastet, and that Bastet is Sekhmet's is the gentler, nurturing side. And I thought, bingo, that's it. So I've chosen Bastet to work with. Now I want to give a shout out to this deck. This is the deck, Sacred Mothers and Goddesses. It is 40 cards, goddesses across the spectrum. I love, love, love the artwork. It's by Claudia. Oh, I want to make sure I get the name right. Where are you? I know you're in my notes, so let me look. Claudia. Oh, her last name. Olivio? Olivos. Claudia Olivos. 40 cards. Claudia Olivos. And this book is, I really love the book. It's very information. You get a lot of information. You get cards. So you get the cards. You get a history of the goddess, a message from the goddess. You get questions for reflection, activities, and a spread to do with each one of these goddesses. So I'm going to be doing the spread for Bastet later. Her message, when I read her message, I knew it was right. I knew this was right for me. So her message is know when to act and know when to be silent. Story of my life. Lesson of my life. Know when to act and know when to be still. Know when to give and when to receive. Especially on the receiving side. I'm really working with being a receiver. I'm a pretty good giver, but it's hard for me to ask and it's hard for me to receive. And release your need for control and perfection. Oh my goodness, just in making videos, I thought about this today because I probably did 3 places to do videos. When I very first started to make videos in this house, I had a great spot for it, and then we moved some furniture around and that spot changed, and I just don't feel like I have a great spot for videos, for lighting, for all of that stuff, right? I have 0 makeup on today because the thought of putting makeup on in this heat, even in an air-conditioned house, just makes me want to cry. It's just, it's not perfect, and I'm not perfect. There's lots of there's lots of ahs, there's lots of crinkling bags and the ice maker going, and it just is what it is. This is not a professional production. It's just me making videos. And I take that perfection into other areas of my life too. And I think what that does for us when we are perfectionists is it keeps us from doing things because we're afraid that if we can't do it right or perfect, then we're not going to do it at all. And it keeps us from a lot of things. And we call on Bastet when we want to banish fear. That fear of perfectionism and how it holds us, and fear in general, just of life. Who hasn't experienced that over the past 6 or 8 months? And to restore positive energy, yes. We call on Bastet when we need protection and when we need clarity, courage, and strength to find our way, to get us through a particularly difficult situation. And then it talked about creating a Bastet altar. I'm not a person who changes my altar up a lot, but I'm going to do it this time, and I'll take a picture and post it. I think I can post it. I think there's a place on YouTube where I can post it. If not, I'll post it on Instagram at Little Zen Crone. But I'm going to create an altar. Now, you can create an altar any way you want. You can work with Bastet or not work with Bastet. Maybe you're working with another goddess this season, or maybe you work with a deity. Like maybe you have a deity that you just work with all the time. I would love to know about that. If you feel comfortable to share, please share that with me below too. Do you change your altar like with the wheel of the year, or do you change it with the seasons of the year, or like how what do you do with your altar? I'm curious about that too. My altar pretty much stays the same. I change it mostly with the seasons, and that is like the flowers that I put there, or decorations. Sometimes at Christmas it's a little bit different. At Samhain it's a little bit different. Really, this year is the first year I'm really living with the wheel of the year, and so it's new. It's all new to me. So Bastet altar. So this book suggests a altar cloth of red, black, or purple, and then pictures or statues of Bastet. I do not have a statue of Bastet. I have one picture of Bastet, so that will go on my altar. I don't have any like cat figurine. I have nothing cat because I'm not a cat person. So I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Well, I'll have to see how I feel about that. And then it talks about the Eye of Horus, maybe a picture of the Eye of Horus. So those are the things that I'm going to be looking at, and yeah, changing up my altar a little bit. It's interesting too that I thought I have a black candle. I have a it's in a black, or it's a very dark color, and I call it black glass, and the candle inside smells heavenly, and I've had it for years, and it's really getting to the bottom, and I'm just so sad because when it's gone, right? And I thought, ooh, I'll put that on my altar, because in Zen World, August 10th, I believe, starts a week-long celebration of Obon, where, interestingly enough, in Japanese culture, they feel that the veil is thin, and that you have contact with you have easier contact with your ancestors, and it's almost like Samhain, or where we set places at the table where we have a meal. We set places at the table for our ancestors who have departed. And so anyway, I think I'll get that black candle out, because it's going to stay out now for a while, and this will probably be the last year for that candle. Now, I do want to have a short commercial. Don't turn away yet. I have been working on something and given birth to something creative that I'm really happy about the way this turned out. And this is a 24-page, I called it the August 2025 Tarot and Moon Guide, but I think I'm going to change that title for next month, and it will become the Virgo Tarot and Moon Guide, but there's so much more in it. Or maybe it'll just be Virgo Season Guide, because there's so much more in this than just tarot and moon work. So let me just show you a few pages. We talk about August 2025, and we talk about the moon and some of the astrological happenings. There is a collective, I think that's what this was. It was the collective reading. I did a collective tarot reading for the collective. And then this is, these are mini readings for you by your sign. So it's kind of fun to look up, you know, your birth sign, your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign. That's fun to do too. This is the Moon and Stars Guide. So I went through and just highlighted, I think there's 6 astrological happenings over the month. We've got a meteor shower. The Perseid meteor shower is going to be taking place, and we've got a planet parade, 6 planets that are going to line up, and that's all in here. And then I did information about the full moon, the sturgeon moon, and there are pages for you to write in. Then I did a whole section on Lunasa. This is kind of how it's going to go for every month too. So there'll be a section on the Wheel of the Year. So this is Lunasa. I gave you a recipe from my kitchen that I was thinking about that you can make in your house, like in your oven. Actually, it's not in your oven. It would be on top of your stove. But you could also do this recipe on the grill. It's a wonderful vegetable and garlic and yummy spices flatbread. That's so good with, I usually make this, I make it year round, and I usually make it when I've made a big pot of soup. And I have made it, rolled it out a little bit thinner and made it like as a sandwich roll thingy too, which is good. Oh, and you can make it as a side for curry as well. There's space for reflections. What is this? Yeah, because I've printed this out, but I can't actually read this size print, even though it's 14. Oh, I know what this is. This is Gods and Goddesses for Lunasa. So I picked a few, and you know, yay, but you don't have to use these if you don't want to. There's a section for reflections, reflections and affirmations, and then there is an entire, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. That's a free guide to the Lion's Gate, and it has in it a tarot spread to do for the Lion's Gate as well. This is available on Buy Me a Coffee, so you would go to the link in the description box. It is $3. It is less than a price of a cup of coffee, and it's 24 pages, and you don't have to print it out. It's a PDF. You don't have to print it out. You can print it out. I would love for you to print it out and use it and spill coffee on it, and it's to be used, you know. A dear friend of mine bought one, and she put punch holes in it, and she's got like dividers, and she wants to get one every month. The people that I've sent them to kind of like pre-read them And then the people who have purchased them so far have all come back to me and said that they really appreciated it and that it was really full of information. So I hope that you'll go on over to my little space and buy me a coffee and go to the shop tab and buy one of these guides. I would really appreciate that. So I will be live on Saturday, this coming Saturday, and I think it's the 2nd of August, for a special edition of Wine and Tarot. I'm gonna have Jackie from Jackie's Crystal Moon with me, so that I'm excited about that. And I think I've scheduled that for 4 o'clock, which is kind of my old time. So, you know, the people in the UK, I get that it's late at night, but you'll be really safe to have a glass of wine and then, you know, go to bed if you want to. And I'm going to be having a glass of wine at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because it is Wine and Tarot, right? So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I should know when the full moon is coming. I don't, but it's coming pretty soon. It'll be the week after. I will be doing my live for the full moon. And we can, yeah, by that time, it'll be like the peak of the Lion's Gate. We could talk a little bit about that. And August 1st starts Lunasa. It's such a, they call it the Galactic New Year, and I kind of feel like it's a New Year time, or a turn. It's a turning time in the year. I'm really looking forward to the oppressive heat to be over, and for a little bit of crispness to start coming back in the air. We're not going on vacation this year. We've for the last 4 years, we've gone down to the shore, the beach in Delaware, and we've taken my parents with. My dad is now going to be 94 years old in September. He's doing great. You know, still walking, still really sharp, and but this year we can't go because Mark got a new job in January and he doesn't have the vacation time. So, no vacation. But that week is usually around the 20th of August. And when I come back from that week, I'm ready I change all the decorations in the house to more Mabon decorations, and I'm ready. And I am ready. My garden this year has just been decimated. I really have got very little. My zucchini plant died. I mean, I don't know anybody who's had a zucchini plant that died. And my zucchini plant died. It's been rough. It's been a rough year. This is the worst year for the garden so far. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to next year's garden already. Anyway, it's been lovely to spend time with you. Hope I wasn't too rambly. I will see you on Saturday at 4 o'clock. Go on over to buy me a coffee and get one of the August tarot and moon guides for yourself. I think you'll like it. And I'll see you next time. Take care.